We know who is riding. Owen Doull, Theo Geoghegan-Hart, I should say, sorry, Ian Stannard, Ben Swift, who the rest of the squad are riding for, Geraint Thomas, and Adam
I thought
Yates.
G's pulled out.
He's pulled out of the time trial.
Oh, the time trial.
So he's pulled out of the time trial. He's not going to ride that. Alex Dowsett, is the
I might be going
to
help Victor Campenaerts, funny enough.
Really?
I'm having a motivational talk with him on the phone the day before, but I might be going to have to sit in the car with him, behind him.
Yeah.
And funny enough, he wants to give me a skin suit from the hour record, you see. So all that crap early in the year that, Wiggins, we're actually quite close. Yeah. And he's gifted me his hour record suit. I just said, make sure you wash it, mate.
So you're going to be Sean Yates?
No, I'm not. I'd like to observe what he's doing, because he's asked me how I can help him and stuff. Okay. I said, I need to watch you for a bit and see what you do in your warm-up and all that. So more as just an observer to try and give him some pinpointers for next year. So
just to
I'll be standing there having a cigarette going.
To go back to G briefly, so he said that he's tried to get back into shape after taking a break after the Tour de France. He hasn't got into the shape that he thinks he will be at his best. So John Archibald will be, who of course finished second in the national championships men's time trial.
Yeah.
He will take G's place. G will still be part of the squad riding for Ben Swift in the road race. Let's start with the time trial. In fact, so do we see Alex making a mark there? Do we see it as Primoz Roglic is for the taking? Do we see Remco Evenepoel being the man to watch here? It's quite an open time trial.
Yeah, I think off the back of the Vuelta, Primoz Roglic. I mean, I can't imagine with his personality that he'd have let it go for 5 or 6 days. For
the sake of keeping it together.
Yeah. I mean, he was dominant, wasn't he, Steve, in that time trial?
I'd go with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
And a dark horse. Who else do we think?
There's not the competition. Because Tony Martin crashed in the Vuelta, didn't he?
Kirienka, maybe.
Yeah.
Kiri's, I think he's about 40 now, isn't he?
Yeah, but he still goes.
Well, actually, so Victor. I mean, Victor Campenaerts. Victor actually said to me during the week, "I think I can win." So he wouldn't have said that if he didn't think he would. So
he should. Was it Treno Adriatico? He should have won it, and that was where he had that. Was it the Giro?
Giro, yeah.
And it didn't fall apart.
So it's between them two. I think it's between them two.
Yeah. So. Men's road race, and we'll come to the women's road race as well, because I do want to talk about that. Lizzie Deignan racing on her home roads. Steve, let's start with you. Who do you see as the main? Is it a case of everyone else figuring out how to beat Mathieu van der Poel?
If it comes to a small group and he's there, it's difficult to win. Yeah. So
or even if he's like a kilometre or two behind in the final shake-up, then
it's difficult to win. So how would you beat him? I don't know. You'd have to go long and hope he's not there, by using numbers. But I'm not sure which nation has those kind of numbers that will go the distance in that race on that course. And I think the weather can obviously affect the day, make it harder if it's wet.
If you hadn't crashed and you were, because I consider you one of our best one-day riders, in terms of preparation, and everything had gone well, how would you have tackled the race, being in that race, you'd wait as long as possible? I mean, what would you have done? What would your game plan have
for
been?
Me or for the team?
No, for you, because it's a tough course, isn't it? It's 280k.
Yeah, I think the strategy Britain. Do you want me to say what the strategy I think Britain should have? I mean,
they'll go with Ben Swift, won't they?
Yeah, I mean, but I agree with that. But all I wouldn't do
you need a backup, don't you?
No, but what I wouldn't do is I think when you've got the favourite, you're all in for that one favourite.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
When you haven't got the favourite, and it's like Van der Poel is the favourite, it's like, how are you going to beat Van der Poel? I think then you have to start to have some ideas of how you might be able to beat him, even if it is a long shot, and you need to anticipate a little bit. So they have Theo, and they have who
James
else?
Knox riding, is he?
No.
He's not riding, but Theo is a rider that could potentially anticipate and be in a group that comes to the finish, or just put pressure on the Dutch and make them try and make a mistake. And
it's Van der Poel too much of a favourite, though. And
he doesn't seem to feel the pressure.
I'm thinking Philippe Gilbert and Van Avermaet.
But Belgium have got an outrageously strong
them
squad
two
as well.
guys, they're experienced, and Gilbert's every year continues to amaze me.
He's just done it before, and
he's on form.
He's the same guy he was
Vuelta
back then, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's as silly as us.
What about Michael Matthews?
It's going well. Yeah, he looks really skinny and stuff. I mean, there's so many. It's such a.
I could see Gilbert. He's another, I'd say him.
Yeah.
Matthews, I just think that the way Matthews would have to win, Van der Poel would still be there, and Van der Poel would win.
Swifty's going to be up there, though.
Swifty will be there, yeah.
There.
Top 10, top 5, maybe even a medal.
Julian Alaphilippe?
I think it's been hard for him since the tour. He's showing signs. He's got it in him, but it's just since the tour, it's been so demanding, I think. So I'd love to see him go flying, and then you would say he's one of the favourites. But
He's got to slow down at some point.
Well, what we've seen this season is that that's what we kept saying over the tour.
It's not ever ending. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him.
And Peter Sagan, we've got to.
You can never rate him.
Never pause on.
Yeah.
What? No, you're never going to discount him. Never can discount him. But he didn't ride the Vuelta. Interesting. Did he go to Quebec and all those races? Did he?
He did Canada. Yeah.
So it's a different route through, and I always think the Vuelta is Vuelta in Britain. But I always just liked the Vuelta really because you're away from home, and I needed that because I had kids and stuff. So you're in that environment basically, and I always liked that pathway for the road race anyway.
Yeah.
And I did that the year we obviously worked for Cav when he won the Worlds.
A course never came up that really suited you for the Worlds, or the time was never right. Obviously, we know you were world time trial champion.
I just never considered myself a one-day rider. I was always too big a picture and just doing enough and not being reckless, and so GC riding suited me. But I probably had the ability to do it, but I felt like I always had the time trial. I always knew coincidence, so that was always my focus, and it was always difficult coming off the back of the time trial and trying to refocus for the road race. And no one really did that. I think Cancellara was the last one to really have a go at that.
Yeah.
It's actually quite draining, the time trial, the mental focus and everything. But the year I got second in Copenhagen, I knew we were always going to be working for Cav, so it's a different mental mindset.
So the women's road race, and Lizzie Degnan, one of the favourites racing on home roads, she will be supported by a squad featuring Lizzie Banks, Alice Barnes, Hannah Barnes, Nikki Juniper and Anna Henderson. So here's one for you. Lizzie Degnan has said this week she feels the responsibility to prove that you can be both a pro rider and a mother.
Well, that's the point.
What do we make of this?
People keep saying, do you think she can win? And it doesn't matter. She's already a national star and done so much for women's cycling. My daughter idolises her at 12 years of age. She's done it. By being Lizzie and doing her best, she's gone away and had a baby. And people say, do you think women's cycling has got better? Phil has retired from cycling from Team Sky to become the house parent because she can now earn more money as a women's cyclist, and the Worlds are in Yorkshire and she's a national star and people just want to see her and she'll do her best. And she's a mother, and it's brilliant that a woman can do that over the man. Good on Phil for doing that as well, it's getting somewhere.